Johann Heinrich Pestalozzi by Helena Reed. Johann Pestalozzi was known as the father of modern education. He was a writer, an education reformist, and a social justice reformist. He believed everyone was capable of earning an education. He advocated education of the poor and teaching methods to strengthen children's own abilities, each child's own ability. He believed children should learn through experience, their own experience, and the use of material objects. They should follow through with their own intuition and build their own conclusions. Background in education. Pestalozzi was born in Zurich, Switzerland on January 12, 1746. At the age of 5, his father passed away, and then he was raised by his mother and his faithful maid. As a child, he was socially awkward and lacked practical abilities. This was due to the intense love and devotion from his two mother figures. He was very sheltered as a child and had limited opportunity to interact with other children. This experience led to other interests in his life. These clung with him throughout his life. So he knew the importance of socialization and practical training, but he also knew the importance of love and affection. He started school around the age 9, and despite starting so late at 9 years old, he successfully finished, and then he enrolled into Zurich's University of Ministry, then for law, and then during law, he found his passion for education. After law, he bought a small piece of land and turned his farmhouse into a schoolhouse. He wanted to provide the poor with a learning environment and shelter. He called his schoolhouse Neuhof. Neuhof was a house for the poor and became a school and a home for approximately 50 people. He had the children work for their education and be productive. He had them doing small chores, farm work things like weaving and sewing, and in return, he would teach them reading, writing, memorizing passages. Unfortunately, this experience failed due to lack of funds and a lot of responsibility for him. He endured the whole experience and learned that children need security, safety, and shelter, and a genuine affection. So this was a great learning experience for him. Years later, he wrote How Gertrude Teaches Her Children. In this book, he explains his new educational ideas and ways of teaching, learning with head, heart, and hands. He stressed that there should be a balance between the head, heart, and hands. Head, intellectual knowledge; heart, moral and religious education; and hands, physical and technical education. Through developing in all these areas, one becomes a whole. In this book, he also talked about his educational ideas: movable letters to teach spelling and reading, visual and tactile aids to teach math, and use of slate and slate pencils to fix corrections, encourage group oral answering, exercise activities, constant interaction between teacher and student, and family-filled settings, which we all have these today. Method of education. His method was the child first learns to observe, corrects their own mistakes, and then analyzes and describes the object. The child should start with simple objects and simple observations and then build towards more complex and abstract things. These two pictures on the right I have chose is a group of children basically just painting and using their own imagination, their own creativity. This is it's a simple activity they can learn and observe and just have fun with it. It's a simple activity. Then the second one on the bottom is colorful blocks that these children are playing with. They're building. These are hands-on activities in which he was talking about. He promotes like painting, drawing, activities Urandon, 1805 to 1825. Urandon was Pestalozzi's big project. He started an institution for children in 1805 and had high hopes. He was right. Urandon was completely successful. He spent 20 years focusing on secondary education and teacher preparation programs. This was also the starting point of teacher licensure and what teachers have to achieve to become an educator, like certificates and credentials. Urandon was a famous institute where all educators would come to visit and share ideas. Pestalozzi died in Brugg, Switzerland at the age 81. He was the founder of modern education, and he once said, "My life is devoted to education. To the poor, it is what I seek and nothing else." Impacting early childhood today. Pestalozzi has impacted early childhood education today by developing a safe, family-filled, warm learning environment for children, developing concepts of teaching training with certificates and credentials, curriculum innovations like group work, field trips, grade levels, ability grouping, allowing individual differences, teacher and student relationships, education in home connections, importance of physical activities, running, painting, building, drawing, etc., hands-on learning and observation. Pestalozzi's idea of education and learning has had massive influence on education today and by interests and needs of each individual child. Thank you.